Hey everybody, Josh Sigurdson of World Alternative Media here, and of course we're joined by author and economic analyst here at WAM, John Sneisen, and now we've got some more financial news for you. The central banks, the way they invest and how this is such a huge scam. John, can you kind of go into this a bit?
Oh, it's insane what's going on today with the central banks. First of all, if there were to be a central bank at all, the only thing it should be allowed to do is print currency only on the benefit of the people itself, nothing else whatsoever.
That
Not
is
that I
if it
want.
existed.
Yeah, if it exists, exactly. Now, it comes from a tweet actually from Zero Hedge that piqued my interest, so I looked into it and I found out it's all true. There's no bullshit about this one. And what is insane, he tweeted, central banks own $25 trillion in financial assets.
Wow.
That just blows my mind. Financial asset, they're what? Like, a central bank is buying what? Like, what are they buying? Like, what are these crazy central bankers buying? Like, they're not supposed to do anything other than setting the interest rate, according to themselves. Setting the interest rate and then fixing the money supply. Well, now they're buying bonds through their quantitative easing programs. They're buying derivatives like mortgage-backed securities, like collateralized debt obligations. In 2008, they bought a whole shitload of it in order to, take it off the dirty banks' balance sheets and then save the banks. So now they look all clean and nice, and they're it's party time again.
It's funny because all this week I've been making angry reports, and I think we're finally getting to see John angry. Go ahead, John.
I think these guys are disgusting, and I don't know. It just infuriates me, and I might not look very angry right now, but I'm very pissed off. I'm very, really, really angry at these stupid bankers and what they're doing. Like, these central bankers, for some reason, they believe that their academic knowledge, their PhDs, is gonna save the world. And of course, they're gonna just bring us down into the ground with them. And what's gonna happen is these geniuses that are sitting on their pedestals in these massive marble buildings around the world, thinking that they're masters of the universe, these fucking idiots are gonna totally demolish our system. Now, I'm going to show you a couple of interesting things. First of all, I'm going to go into who are these idiots around the world that have been doing this quantitative easing.
Globalist
all the major banks. Now, I'm going to go into here. We got Japan. They started in 2007, and Japan is by far the worst central bank in existence in probably the 2000s, other than Zimbabwe, of course, the Central Bank of Zimbabwe.
Though, when it comes to power, though, I'd have to say the Federal Reserve because of their reach around the world.
But I'm talking about the stupid decisions that Japan has done. They just doubled down. We talked about negative interest rates, Josh, and they had, $6.7 trillion in negative interest rate denominated bonds, and that's through their quantitative easing program, where they buy bonds directly. And then what they do is they create bonds, like government spends a whole bunch of money in bonds, trillions of yuan, and then what they do is they take and buy them. The central bank buys them because there's nobody else that want that worthless piece of shit that you're selling. So they're actually just selling it to themselves. Hey, great scheme to go on, Josh. Let's create a whole bunch of investments and then we sell it to them. We buy them ourselves, and then we print more money.
They're absolutely total frauds. These guys are total frauds. They thrive on debt and destruction, and that's exactly what their end game seems to be. So, John, can you go a little bit further?
The reason why I talked about Japan is because Japan was the first ones to start, and they really started back in when they had their first depression in the 2000s and mid 1990s. That's when they started a program. Of course, the United States has their quantitative. They call them all these funny things. The United States have the QE, the QE2, the QE3, Operation Twist, whatever kind of crap they tried to call it, because people see that it's a bullshit policy, and then they try to change the name on it in order to make the same pile of crap look better, which of course it's not. They're just shooting themselves in the foot, these idiots. And of course, the Federal Reserve has, printed massive amounts of money and doing quantitative easing. Now, lately they haven't, but they actually have seen banks like Belgium Central Bank suddenly accumulate $200 billion of U.S. bonds out of thin air, the little country of Belgium. Well, who's in Belgium? Well, it's the European Union's headquarters. So there's probably some buddies there, that's trying to help, the failing monetary system there. Now, of course, United Kingdom jumped in as well. And then, of course, the ECB, we've seen what they're doing. And we talked about this, Josh. And now, Scandinavia, the Swedish, our stupid neighbors over in Sweden. Sorry, I love Swedes, but I just like to make fun of them. Especially their idiots, especially their idiot central bankers that, also have their quantitative easing in February 2015. They started buying $1.2 billion US dollars worth of Swedish bonds. Another, let's just double down. Like when a policy fails, let's just do it on a massive scale. Everybody just do the same thing and see how much you can just demolish and destroy everything around you. And if that doesn't work, well, we got some other ideas, okay? So we failed at, manipulating the markets through bond purchases and massive amounts of government debt spending, which is Keynesian bullshit that's going on right now. Well, when you have that, okay, so, what are we going to do now? I don't know. I'm getting a panic attack, Josh. I'm a central banker. Okay, sorry.
Turning into Max Kaiser over there.
Sorry, I just trying to feel how these idiots are feeling right now, because that's how they feel. They're in panic mode right now because they're going down and they know that they're gonna totally just destroy the whole world. Well, okay, so that didn't work. Well, let's just buy, as we said, the derivatives. All the world, they did that in 2008, to hide all the demolishment of the current crises of Lehman Brothers and all that. No, just, hide it by taking all the terrible debt off of the bank's balance sheet. And now, well, who owns it? Oh, it's the central bank. And I've been, when I came over to Canada, I did some investment. I sold some investments. I sold real estate investments. I went actually into understanding, how investments work and how important it is to have an exit strategy when you try to sell an investment. I tell you, I don't know what these guys are thinking, but I guess they have an exit strategy, and I did a video on it, and it's the special drawing rights. That's their exit strategy. They're going to buy up the crap of all these central banks, all their balance sheets, print these special drawing rights, and then we're going to have a fantastic one global currency party, and then it's going to implode, and then the whole world is destroyed. Now,
and actually, just cutting in to interject for a second there, John, their end game was always going to be destruction. Their end game was always going to be that we fail, they win. However, people are waking up so fast that it's starting to look like it's going to collapse, but then there's going to be people in the streets, educated people, including many of the great people that watch our videos, that are going to be looking for, I'm just going to say, a prison sentence for a lot of these disgusting globalist scumbags that do nothing but, in their pursuit of power, work with their globalist crony friends in order to drive us into the ground, make us dependent on the state, dependent on the banks, make us ask for handouts while we're suffering in the mud. And that's not going to happen because, of course, we are going to suffer. There's no doubt about that. We are going to suffer badly. Everybody is. However, we know what their end game is now, and we are onto their shenanigans. I'll just be nice for this video. We are on to what they're trying to do, what their end game is, and it's not going to win. They are going to fail. Liberty is going to prevail, and these people are going down, and they're going to rot in a prison cell for what they're doing to humanity in the way that they're trying to plunder us and shove us into debt enslavement in order to basically control us and destroy all of our lives, because we're nothing but pawns to these people. We're nothing but pawns to these evil sacks of shit.
Yeah, and what they're doing currently is, of course, they're loading up on another assets, which is stocks. That's why you see these stock markets around the world, they're hitting all-time highs all the time, and everyone's like, oh, that's totally fine, it's working fine. The whole global monetary system is really going to go just a lot higher. We're going to see, new highs in 2018 and 2019.
The Mickey Mouse Paul Krugman's, I suppose.
Well, I think that's Krugman, kind of made together with Janet Yellen.
I think that's what Krugman's voice sounds like when Janet Yellen's squeezing his balls, just saying.
Oh, don't. Oh, that's disgusting, Josh.
Well, you know who's in charge here. The globalists are in charge. They just send out idiots like Paul Krugman onto the street to push their propaganda platform.
Yeah, and what we see here is, of course, the Bank of Japan has been buying Royal Bank of Scotland stocks. And then, of course, the Bank of Korea has been buying, and the Bank of Israel has been buying stocks. And they're buying up portfolios, they're buying up mutual funds, ETFs, anything that they try to, have you believe that the world is totally fine and that those fucking gold idiots like me and Josh are totally wrong. They're just doing whatever they can in order to totally demolish us. Of course,
what are we thinking trying to push the message of freedom? We're crazy.
Hey, when did this become normal that the Bank of Japan and other idiots are... let's just, buy stocks. That's such a fantastic idea that a central bank that should just, go and stop existing. Are buying this crap. It's just mind boggles you.
Manipulation of the markets, monopolization, destruction.
And we of course, like, I'm working on this exchange stabilization fund, but looking at all these, what it is, it's just a global firing squad, and they're just in a circle right now, standing there with pistols to their heads, and then shooting, the Bank of Japan. Well, when they run out of ammo, well, now it's the next guy and the next guy and the next guy, and they've been doing this. They've been circling around this quantitative easing programs. They stop it. It looks like they're not doing anything. Well, over here, the ECB and the Bank of Japan or whoever is doing the same thing, and they're buying bonds and so on from this. So it's just like they're always doing this, and they're working all together. And there are a bunch of globalist pigs that just trying to manipulate your markets in order for you to believe that your stock portfolio, every assets and currency that you own has a value. Well, think again, guys. Anything that you own that is in paper and is denominated in these fiat currencies will lose their value very, very rapidly as the time comes when everybody understands that the massive manipulation that is going on, all this pushing up of these values, you're going to probably see losses of 15 to 90%, maybe even more in some instances, of all your assets that you believe personally that had value because you believed in the manipulation. And of course, it's a trust game. It's all a trust game, guys. And they all make you believe that all this paper and all these things that they do is they know what they're doing.
It's like trusting a woman that's cheated on you 100 times. Oh, but this time it'll be fine. She's trustworthy. Look at her eyes. Look at her shiny, bright eyes, a puppy dog eyes. She's a wonderful being. She's not going to do it again.
I changed. And it's better this time, Josh.
Yeah, it's better this time. And oh, look how cute she is. Well, look, this is exactly the issue that I bring up so many times, is a Hegelian dialectic of problem, reaction, solution, over and over and over again. Wash, rinse, and repeat. And I don't know how to make it any more simple. People, please wake up to what's going on. We're winning, but we can't win without you. We need to stand up against these globalist scumbags, these plunderers of life and limb, these people that use this debt, use this enslavement in order to perpetuate war and destruction, and to make sure that the markets are unstable all the time so that we can't afford anything. We go on welfare because and then we're in the hand of the state. Once again, we're dependent on the state. That's all it's about, is just completely pushing us into this little tiny area until we're like sardines in a can and we can't move anymore, and we ask, please, government, save me. That was the end plan. That was the end game, and that's exactly what they are doing right now. So with that said, John, I know we've the whole video has kind of been a bottom line here, but what is the bottom line with this report?
Well, the bottom line is these guys have no exit strategy, and they hold a whole bunch of financial assets around the world. And Josh is going to put out, just to show you actually, because a lot of people might not trust us, because they think that we're, trying to just push gold. We're gold bugs or whatever. But look at this. Like, we can actually show you. I put out, I think, 40 different central banks' balance sheets, and you'll actually see that these guys are loading up on assets everywhere. Almost every single bank, central bank in the world has been loading up on massive amounts of assets.
Absolutely. And as the West sells off all their gold because we are freaking stupid, like Bill Morneau, the finance minister, which we confronted in Canada, as well as in the United States, elsewhere, they're selling off their gold, and the East is buying it up because they see what's happening. And guess what's going to happen? While China buys up all the gold and we're in debt to China, as the U.S. is in debt to China, and they just accumulate all this gold, they're going to have a lot to go on once their economy collapses, which is it will certainly soon. And then who's in debt to who? We are going to be unable to pay our debts. They're already buying up plots of land. I know this is a conspiracy theory, folks, but come on. One thing leads to another. Most usually these things can't be coincidences after a certain point where the plan seems laid out right in stone. So we need to watch out. We need to be independent. That's the most important thing, is that we need to be independent, take care of ourselves. Apart from sound money, because of course everyone always says, well, you can't eat gold or you can't eat silver. Well, you know what we need to do is we need to be independent in all avenues of life, from food, water, shelter to defense, and then sound money, and that comes in a bunch. You can't just have one and not the other. You need to defend yourself. You need to be independent, because if you're not independent, you're enslaved. And I hate to say something that a lot of you probably been hearing since a boomer generation in the 60s, you're all slaves. Well, we are all slaves right now, and we are perpetuating it by thinking, well, maybe if we regulate this a bit different, or maybe if we tax these people a bit different, everything's going to work. No, you have to go to the root. You can't stop Dutch elm by shaving off a piece of the bark. You got to actually go to the source itself, and that's the end problem here, and that's where the solution comes in, which is you and I. We need to help out each other as individuals, not as some collectivist order or these coercive groups where we enslave the 49%. We need to work as individuals to solve this problem, because we are being pushed into the mud. We've got mud in our face, and we're telling ourselves, "Oh, well, no, I'm clean. I'm okay. I'm all right." It's kind of like when you're a little kid and you're riding your bike and you fall off your bike, you scrape your knee, and you're around your friends, so you don't want to pout, you don't want to cry, you don't want to look bad, so you say, "Oh, I'm okay, and you kind of limp home. You're trying to smile, I'm okay. No, you're not okay. This is bad. This is affecting all of us, and we need to do something right now. These globalists have to go down right now, and they are digging their own grave. So what's next for us to do is to push them into there. And I mean that metaphorically, just so I don't have people breaking down my door.
Well, one final piece of thought to everybody out there that's watching this video. What is your exit strategy from this? That's it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you very much, John, for bringing us another great report.
Hopefully it's better than the central banks.
Yeah, we'll be right back at you with much more financial news around the world, because this is coming to a precipice, folks. So check the links below. GoFundMe, Patreon, any donation is very much appreciated. We can't do it without you folks. I hate to ask for donations, but we're doing this for free, and we're never going to stop putting it up for free. But yes, we're very grateful for any help that we can get, even just sharing around the links. So thank you very much. And you can find us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, of course, as well. This is Josh Sigurdson and John Sneisen signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth, be the change.